Hi, and welcome everybody to the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel. You're watching the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Podcast. I'm Ross Benjamin, your host, and it's Tuesday, March the 5th. And once again, like every Tuesday, I am joined by my two cohorts, Mr. Jesse Schule and Mr. Sean Higgs, all three of us of gamblersworld.net, which is our sponsor site. By the way, folks, go to gamblersworld.net right now, and we got a March Madness special going on for all the handicappers, all 10 of us over at gamblersworld.net. And $249 will get you the entire postseason as well as the rest of the regular season in college basketball. And that postseason includes all the conference tournaments and the NCAA tournament, the NIT, and the CBI, right through all three of those tournaments, championship games as well. So $249, folks. Take advantage of that while the offer lasts. And again, that's at gamblersworld.net. Don't forget, if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel, I don't know what you're waiting for. It's absolutely free. And you've been watching, or you're new to watching. And if you're new to watching, you know you love sports betting. So click on that black subscribe button. That'll get you subscribed. No strings attached. It's 100% free and no subscription plans or anything of that nature when it comes to subscribing. And if you're on your PC, just hit that WC logo in the bottom right-hand corner of your screen. That serves the same purpose. That'll get you subscribed. And if you're new or if you're a current subscriber and you haven't done this already, take a second to do so. Go into your YouTube settings and click on the alert notification bell for the Winner's Circle Sports Betting Channel, and you'll be notified immediately upon any of our 5 podcasts going up on a weekly basis. All right. Hello, Jesse. How are you, my man?
Doing all right, Ross. I had a bit of a rough weekend. The results weren't great on Saturday and Sunday, catching a little flack in the comment section. But it's been a pretty good year, and I did bounce back with a 3-0 performance on Monday. So we're happy about that.
Yeah. What Arsenal? Who was your soccer pick that won 6-0?
Arsenal. I laid 2 goals, so minus 2 goals, and they win by 6.
Yeah, they beat Sheffield, correct? If I remember right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, again, you people who don't bet on soccer, and I don't watch soccer, and the EPL goes in the middle of the day. Well, you don't have to watch the game to make money, folks. And Jesse's one of the finest soccer handicappers in the country, or in the nation, or in the world, actually, because he resides in Thailand. He's a native Canadian, Western Canadian, but he has been residing in Thailand for quite some time. But Jesse Schule over at gamblersworld.net, and like all the handicappers, Jesse guarantees his picks at gamblersworld.net, which means if you don't win, you don't make a profit on your single game or multi-game daily packages or any subscription plan of 30 days or fewer. You will get credited back the exact amount of what you spent on that specific purchase. And when it comes to Jesse and Sean and myself, we hope that's a moot point, and most of the time it is. All right, Mr. Higgs, I want to see you smile today, my friend, because when you smile, the whole show lights up. So what's going on, buddy?
Nothing. Two in one day yesterday on the site. Split my college basketball winner with the Lakers. Sunday, I took a pass. I didn't love anything on Sunday college basketball. I ended up splitting on Saturday. Started out good, a couple losers. But, Friday, I was like, Marquette was 3.5. It was 5. This is why you have to. It went up to 7 or something that day. But the free pick won because I said take that Creighton team total over.
Yeah,
that is. You got to look at these. I mean, that was a 3, right? We were in at 3.5. It was 5. It was 7. Like craziness. Well, 2 guys sit out, but you got to look at these lines, folks. Like, we got games today. They've already moved from over. Finding the right number kind of dictates how things are going to go. Russ, you always talk about it looks a little heavy, a little light to kind of do things. And again, we've been doing this a while, but sometimes we make mistakes. Like a game's all over the place like that. Just try to avoid it. Try to avoid it for whatever reason. Just because the guy's out. Hey, Giannis didn't play last night. Did that make a difference for the Bucks? No. I mean, players sit out. It is what it is. Sometimes you got to scratch those off and just avoid them. You don't got to bet them because they're marquee games.
Yeah, we went 2-1 on the show on Friday, our live show for the Saturday college basketball picks. Unfortunately, yours truly let us down, but these two guys picked me up. And then, yeah, on yesterday's show, we went 2-0 as I had Duke. I laid the 6 on the road against North Carolina State. They won handily. And then Baylor with an excellent comeback in the second half after being down 8 at the half to cover that game as well. And, we were talking yesterday on the show, guys, and Baylor seems to be a trending pick to watch out for in the NCAA tournament. And here's my concern with Baylor, and I mentioned this yesterday, and I'd be interested in hearing you guys retort to this. But I'm concerned with Baylor because there's no unequivocally they're a dynamic offensive team that could score with anybody, and they're on any given day they could win. But my concern with them is, when you have a flat game offensively, can you keep yourself in the game competitive and give yourself a chance to win on the defensive end of the court? And I'm not so sure that Baylor could do that. You look at even in their wins yesterday, they gave up 85 points again. And in their win before that, against Kansas, I think Kansas shot 56%. So guys, any thoughts in that regard? I know I'm throwing a curveball at you, but it just came to my mind.
It strikes me that they're coming up short in close games, 50-50 games that the team that's better prepared and better coached is going to win, missing their free throws, losing in overtime at home to Houston. That was a game that you would have liked to have seen them win.
Yeah.
And the inconsistency. So, yeah, I think they're a team that you would expect throughout the tournament. They're going to run into a hot team, and they're not going to be able to elevate, or they're going to make some mistakes, and they're going to get knocked off before they reach the Elite Eight or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, once you get to the round of 32, you're starting to see teams, even when you're ranked number 11 like Baylor, that are capable of scoring right with you, especially when you don't defend well. And if those teams are a better defensive team, I just don't see Baylor making a deep run, Sean.
Well, listen, if we could get Baylor at like some kind of plus stuff as a dog, I think we're okay. I mean, this is a team that they're 22-8. They have 3 overtime losses.
Yeah.
2 of them at home. One of them on the last second shot by TCU, which probably shouldn't have gone to overtime, much like the Houston game. So now you're talking a team that's 24-6. Then they have the losses to Duke and Michigan State on neutrals back-to-back spot. And the only bad loss is somehow Michigan State ran them out of the building 88-64. And they battled Duke the next day. You lose, but come on, that's a tough spot. Duke's a good team. This is a good team. I mean, don't be fooled by their losses because they might have 10 losses going into the tournament. People think this is a bad team. Let's look at some of those losses. Like Jess said, coaching and preparedness. You got to hit a free throw. You got to make a stop. But if I'm getting them as a dog, it's a worthy shot. If you're getting
but Sean, if I could just stop you for a second, then continue your comment. I'm referring to Baylor making a deep run in the tournament, NCAA tournament. They're probably going to be around a number 3 seed right now as we speak. So you're not going to catch them as a dog until, I wouldn't want to say, maybe the Elite Eight, possibly a pick'em game in a Sweet 16 matchup, depending on the opponent. So
they are. Oh my goodness, they're the number one. They're the top 1 seed. They're the top 3 seed.
I see them losing to a Mountain West team in the second or third round.
Yeah, I agree with you, Jesse. Yeah, that's what I was referring to, Sean. Yes, if you can catch them as a dog, obviously. And I don't know when you'll catch them as a dog now.
You're right. That's because, like I was saying, you look at a team that could have possibly 10 losses, and you're going to think they're not going to be that high, but yet they're the top 3 seed according to bracket matrix here.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that kind of skews my thought on taking them because I don't want to be laying 5 with them. That's not a team. They play kind of close games. I don't want to get
and a lot of that can be. I mean, if you look at the points they're putting up, Sean, and offensively, they don't have a hell of a lot of flaws, with the exception of at the free throw line. And we know that at the free throw, this is a thing that gets undervalued when handicapping the game, especially when you're taking a favorite. If it's a favorite of 5 or 6 or even 4, or even 7 or 8 in the single digit category. Okay. 3.5 or more. How's that? And if a team is playing from behind, they're going to intentionally foul in the last minute or two to try to extend the game. And when you can't make your free throws as a favorite, that's where you get backdoored, and that's where you blow games. So that's another attribute that I think a lot of people don't place a lot of emphasis on. It shouldn't be a major emphasis, but when you're laying points, take a look at what your team is shooting from the free throw line. And again, folks, I can't say this enough. When I look at statistics, I look at recent statistics because teams that might have started out shooting the ball terribly at the beginning of the year or through the midway point of the year, or were terrible at the free throw line. And then all of a sudden over their last 5 games, they're hitting 80% from the free throw line, over 40% from 3, and 50% from just field goal percentage in general. And that's way above what their season average is. So you want to always keep yourself abreast in terms of that. And that's why Fox Sheets does a great job with that. I always mention Ken Palm, but Fox Sheets, it breaks it down to you in the last 5 games, which I like to look at, So I don't know. You guys have any thoughts on that? And then we'll move on to our picks. None.
I was just saying, me with free throw shooting.
Yeah.
Don't get me started. I want 85%. Let's go. No one's bothering you.
But the bottom line is you're never going to get. Very seldom have we seen college basketball teams shoot 80% or better from the free throw line.
To be fair, last week, Ross, he said he wanted 90%, didn't he?
I dropped it. I dropped it to 85. How can no one's guarding you? Hit your free throw.
The NBA. I don't think a team has ever shot 85% or better in the NBA for a season either.
You go to the park, and to get on, it was like first 10 guys make the free throws, play. That's the way it worked. You couldn't make a free throw, you weren't playing.
Yeah. So Sean would be the type of guy.
At this rate, I would be playing in the NBA right now because I can make my free throws.
Sean would make 9 out of 10 free throws when it was come time to pick up games, and the guys would hold their breath and saying, I hope he doesn't make another free throw, so I got to catch him on my team.
I got to have this guy on my team.
the big heavy guy.
That's it. Chubby guy inside. That's all right. I was a rebounding machine, and I love pulling up from 3.
All right. My college basketball totals continue to roll 81 and 48 with my last 129. That dates back almost 2 years to the day, March 10th of 2022. In my NBA sides, I went 2-0 over the weekend on my NBA side. So that takes me to 71 and 46, which is good for 65% over my last 117 NBA sides. March Madness is up, folks. Last year had a great March Madness. These guys are clutch handicappers that are with me today. So you want to check out our package for $249. It's our March Madness special, and take advantage of that. All right. So we got 3 games we're going to look at today. Sean's going to look at Alabama and Florida. Tremendous matchup in the SEC. Alabama coming off a loss. Florida right now is a 1.5-point favorite. The total in that game is 174.5. Jesse will be looking at Ninja's favorite team, Purdue. Ninja is one of our followers that always chimes in on the live show on Fridays at 1:00. And they're going to be traveling to take on Illinois, and Illinois right now is a short favorite, -2, 163.5. And I'll be looking at that intriguing matchup in the Mountain West Conference. 2 really, really good teams is Nevada and Boise State. Game will be played at Boise State. Boise State currently a 5.5-point favorite, total 143.5. Sean, let's start with you because this is if you're a basketball fan and you like up-tempo type of basketball and teams that are capable of putting up big offensive numbers, this certainly is an appealing matchup. All you have to do is look at the total, which is 174.5. Alabama coming off a loss, Sean, and this Florida team, I don't think it's a lot of – they get on – how could I say this? Everybody knows they're a good team, but when you get into the discussion of the best teams in the nation, best teams in the SEC, it doesn't seem like Florida comes up a lot. And I think they're a little bit undervalued in that respect. But anyway, it doesn't matter what I think about this matchup. our official pick is going to be what you pick in this matchup, Sean.
Yeah, so, I had Alabama on Saturday versus Tennessee. I'm thinking, you know what? You lost to them by 20. You're home. Let's get it done here. And they did not get it done. And now do we expect to come out on the road here and beat Florida, a team that's looking for their own revenge, right? They had a crazy 98-93. We did this game. I said, let's take the over. I said, never in doubt. It was an under before they forced overtime. I mean, and here we go, another giant number. I'm going to take Florida on the money line here, though. I think, as you mentioned, they're, I think, the 6th or 7th best team in the SEC, record-wise, or how they go about things here. 13-1 at home. Bama's 5-4 on the road. And again, we mentioned teams lose on the road. It's not like we're covering a huge number here. It was a 1.5. It was a 2 down to 1.5. They lost at Auburn, Kentucky, gave up points to these teams. Florida, I was thinking about taking on Bam here, right? Because I kind of like the team. I think they're a good squad. And then I look at who Florida has beaten. I'm like, wow, you beat Georgia twice. Missouri's 0-16 in conference play, Vanny. Not the best teams, but they have beaten, not similar because Alabama's an elite team, but it's not like they're, they play at Kentucky. They can play and beat good teams. We're home here in a pick'em in a game they really have to win. I mean, yeah, they're in the tournament and stuff like that, but listen, you're not coming in thinking, oh, we could lose games here. You want your revenge. You're in a home spot here. It's a pick'em. Bam on the road has not been good. They give up points. Why not take a home team that could score 95 themselves? I mean, I'm taking Florida here. I'll go money line instead of the 1 or whatever. Let's go 125.
Makes sense to me. Florida minus 125 on the money line over Alabama for Mr. Sean Higgs.
And on top of that, real fast, and the Gators are coming in off their own loss too. They're coming in off a loss themselves. So it's not like they're cruising in with like 6 or 7 straight wins. Like, oh, we're cocky. Yeah. No, you just lost. So let's get back on track. Get back in the groove here.
All right, so Jesse, Alabama opened as a favorite in this game, and now it's Florida minus 1.5. And as we saw with Sean, as we like to do when we get short favorites, so you might as well play the money line. But my question, I should say, is I see a lot of parallels between an Alabama and a Baylor, 2 teams that can put up a lot of points. And like I just discussed with Baylor, Alabama, as good as they are offensively, certainly their flaws come on the defensive end of the floor. Some of that might have to do with the pace that they play at, because it's inevitable teams are going to put up more than they normally do offensively against Alabama, just from the tempo standpoint alone. But what's your take here, Jesse?
I think you can throw Florida into the mix too if you want to get technical about it. They seem to be a team that can beat anybody, but could also lose to anybody as well. We talked about it last week about how at the end of the year, a lot of these things that have been working all year long stop working. Things kind of change at the end of the year. And I noticed that I really struggled this weekend, and I don't think I was the only one. I look around the leaderboards, I see some big names. I don't want to mention any names if I'm talking about losing, but guys that we all recognize as the best in the business. And a lot of these guys, including myself, were struggling with some really odd results. And one of them is just, I've always liked to bet on teams in their final home game of the season as a short favorite or a short dog. And we have a couple of those spots here in the game that I'm going to look at, and this game that Sean's just looked at. And I mean, I've been pretty disappointed with these type of situations and how the home teams have done in recent games. But I'm not about to change my philosophy overnight and just flip flop or anything. I gotta lean Florida. I gotta agree with Sean. But again, that huge total, Sean mentioned they needed overtime to get it done last time. Can they count on overtime this time? Can anybody miss a couple shots, miss a couple free throws, and go under such an inflated number? I'm always tempted to bet against a total that requires everything to go perfectly in order to reach that number. So I would lean Florida. I would lean toward the under. Yeah,
we saw it with Alabama and Tennessee on Saturday. I had the over in that game. It was, I said it was 169 by KenPom because we got that early. It opened at, I think, 166.5 and it went all the way up to 170.5, if I'm not mistaken. And the game went under and really didn't threaten the back number to go over the total. So, again, Jesse makes a good point there. If you're going to take a game like this over the total, there is a reason why the total is this high. But by the same token, all it takes is a 2 or 3 minute spell where nobody scores or there's only 2 points scored, and it makes it extremely difficult to surpass that total when it's that high. So in any event, quick question, Jesse. NCAA tournament play. We'll talk about this in future shows, specifically next week, but I like to look at what you made another point, and I'm going to get off that track. So I don't mean to jump all over the map here, but I am. You made the point about final home games, and I put some emphasis on that, and a lot of it used to be because it's senior day, right? And there's a lot of emotion in the building, but boy, oh boy, these blue blood programs on senior day, it's guys that have been sitting on the bench for 4 years, because if you're that good, you don't last for 4 days. Getting back to my NCAA tournament thoughts, veteran guard play, mid-majors with 2 senior guards that are averaging double digits and been a staple of the program for a long time seem to be very dangerous underdogs at NCAA tournament time. Something you keep an eye on, or is there any other thing that you could mention to the audience that you may look for at that time?
Yeah, no, seniors in the lineup, experienced players is always a bonus. It's something that I usually am looking heavily at in the first couple of weeks of the season, right? And then it's something you go back to come tournament time for sure. I guess I should say, good point, Ross. Good point.
Yeah, there you go. Sean, any thoughts in that regard?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's something like right off the bat in November. I'm looking at like who do I have coming back from a mid-major or smaller school that nobody's looking at in a major conference that has guard play back, same coach for the last 7 years, nobody thinks much of. That's why I like teams like in the Missouri Valley, Mountain West, because those guys are going to be there for a while. They're not the big sexy names, but they're experienced and they're deep, and here they come. That's always something to look at. That's beginning of the year, end of the year. I'm all for experienced upperclassmen.
Yeah, we got 2 teams in the Mountain West that are in the top 25. We have 2 more that I'm going to discuss in Boise State and Nevada, that if you look at the AP poll, they're 26th and 28th in the country. So I'm not so sure how much we can consider the Mountain West this year as a mid-major, but categorically, that's what they are. Any event, let's get to Jesse's pick. And Jesse, your buddy Ninja in Vietnam, his favorite team, the Purdue Boilermakers. Just a joke there, because Ninja always reminds us every time Purdue suffers a loss, which has been only 3 times this year, that they're overrated. And they're going to travel to Champaign to take on the Illinois Illini. To me, Illinois is a really dangerous team when they're right. And again, I've been disappointed with their NCAA tournament showings over the last couple of years, and we'll see if they turn it around this year. But right now, Illinois is a short 2-point favorite, very high total again. Jesse, 163.5. What's your take?
Yeah, it's funny, Purdue only losing 3 games, but you got that feeling that Purdue is consistently getting upset on the road in these kind of games, and it's only been 3 games. But you look at those games: Ohio State, Nebraska, Northwestern, playing at Illinois' final home game. This one looks like the most dangerous one of the bunch. I guess that means Purdue's not going to get caught overlooking Illinois, but this one sort of ticks all the boxes. Short favorite, Illinois at home. They do have Terrence Shannon Jr. back, and this guy should be a lottery pick. I don't know if you guys remember, we talked about him a couple months ago.
When he got suspended, yes.
I believe he got kicked off the team, Ross. I believe his name was plastered all over. He wasn't suspended like, we'll bring him back in a while. I think he was like, go home and don't ever come back. You're a bad guy that does bad things. His name all over the media. it's funny. I didn't see any media reports exonerating him or saying why he's allowed to come back and play, but he's back. He's averaged over 25 points per game in the month of February. He is probably the most dangerous scorer in the Big Ten. And, this one ticks all the boxes with Illinois at home. The revenge game, they lost by 5 at Purdue. Illinois 5-1 against the spread in their last 5 home games against Purdue. Illinois 6-0 against the spread in their last 6 home games. And I just think there's not a lot of separation between these two teams, and Illinois in their final home game should be able to get the win here against Purdue.
All right, so Illinois on the money line, minus 135 for Jesse at home against Purdue. Jesse, before I get to Sean, the Terrence Shannon situation. How much, I can't help but think in the college basketball world in which we live in right now, with huge NIL deals, that this kid who transferred from Texas Tech to Illinois most likely has a huge NIL deal with somebody. And that may be a big supporter of the program. And I can't help but think whoever that company is or that person is that gave Terrence Shannon that huge NIL deal is saying, look, you either put this guy back in the lineup or I'll find another program to support. You're not going to get another dime out of me. That's just my educated guess. Do I know that for a fact? Absolutely not. But did that ever cross your mind, Jesse?
Of course it does. But I think in this day and age, if you actually did the deed that you're accused of doing and the evidence was presented, I don't think anybody can save you. I think we've seen examples like Matt Ariza, the Buffalo Bills punter.
Yeah.
And
he got exonerated too. So
he was exonerated, and then the pitcher Trevor Bauer with the Dodgers. And you look at those two instances, it was simply accusations being made at these guys, no evidence whatsoever. They both lose, millions of dollars in contract money. I tend to think that's closer to what's going on with. And in fact, I did read up on the accusations. The accusations against Terrence Shannon weren't that he. I mean, you can't get into specifics on YouTube, but
sure.
It's apparently he was getting a little bit too friendly in a bar. So we're not talking about like this happened at a dorm room or some really terrible things happened. And not that getting a little bit too handsy at a bar is a good thing, but it doesn't rise to the same level as some of these other accusations.
That's what I was going to say, not to make light of those accusations. And again, we don't know exactly how accurate all those accusations are. However, when you're comparing that to somebody beating up their wife to the point where the wife is showing that she's has physical harm had been done to her. And the other accusation with Ariza, I think a lot of that, what was perturbing about that to the Buffalo Bills at the time was it had to do with what was considered to be several team members from San Diego State participating with one woman. So I'm trying to choose my words carefully here because of YouTube protocol. But Sean, any thoughts on this subject?
Yeah, well, you mentioned YouTube protocol because, I mean, really, if the company or whoever's behind this guy, do they really need a bunch of wacko protesters out there harassing them if this was going to be something? So it's obviously not going to go anywhere, I think. I mean,
yeah, it's unfortunate. It does happen. And do athletes sometime think they're beyond the law? Especially popular athletes, whether it be at the college level or at the pro level. I would say that's true, but I also think that college basketball and the pro level, NFL, NBA, whatever have you, NHL, the mainstream sports, I think they've done a pretty good job of cracking down on that. And players,
Ross, I mean, you're on video. You walk into any bar, you go into Applebee's, you go in Buffalo Wild Wings, you're on camera. They got cameras all over the joint during the parking lot.
Yeah.
I mean, If it was really whether there are fights, whatever the case may be, you're on video 24/7. You walk out your house, somebody's got a Ring camera. You are videoed A to B, wherever you're going.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, if it was something really heinous, whether
we're talking
this guy
about again. I'm not making
I'm not exactly what I'm saying. That no matter who it is, you're on video.
Yeah,
they have to know this.
Yeah,
and they do know this. This is we see plenty of video of regular people, whoever the case may be. You're on video somewhere all the time.
Yep. All right, so let's get to my pick. That's Nevada at Boise State. Right now, Boise State a 5.5-point favorite. The total is 143.5. This game tips off late tonight if you're on the East Coast, 11 p.m. Eastern time on Fox Sports 1. Both of these teams come in red hot. Nevada 5-0 in their last 5. Boise 5-0 in their last 5. Here's the thing I look at, though. Nevada has been very good on the road of late. Not only have they won 8 of their last 9, they've gone 4-0 straight up in ATS in their last 4 on the road, and 3 of those have come as a dog, and those 3 games are against pretty good competition. Colorado State right now is pegged to be a number 9 seed, I believe, in the NCAA tournament. Utah State, who's on top of the standings in the Mountain West Conference and nationally ranked right now, and a UNLV team that in a very good conference is 11-5. So it's not like those 3 teams they beat recently on the road are less than stellar competition. Those 3 teams have a combined record of 34-17 in Mountain West Conference play. And when you consider the fact the Mountain West Conference is looking at most likely 6 teams in the tournament, possibly 7 if UNLV gets hot in Las Vegas during the tournament. They could have 7 if UNLV wins their conference tournament. So Nevada is also going to be playing with revenge here. They lost 64-56 at home to Boise. Despite that loss, they did force Boise into 18 turnovers. The problem was in that game is they shot the ball terribly, which I don't think is going to happen again. I'm not saying that they're going to shoot 55%, but they were in the low 30s in that game. And also they got killed on the glass, 43-24. Now, what's encouraging to me is when I look at Nevada and during this 5-game win streak, they're a +8 rebound per game differential. So they're showing signs that they're improving in that facet of their game and against some pretty good competition. Now, look, they don't have to out-rebound Boise in this game. They just have to stay in the neighborhood. I mean, they can't get out-rebounded by a double-digit margin and on the road and think that they're going to have a realistic opportunity to win the game. I mean, that's been proven in the first matchup. Boise also, this is a team that's not only out-rebounded Nevada badly in that game, during their 5-game win streak, they're +14 rebounds per game. And folks, that's extremely good. And Nevada, that will be their key, is to at least try to neutralize, especially so on the offensive glass, meaning Boise State, and they'll have an excellent opportunity to stay within this number. This looks to me like it's a game that's going to go right down to the wire. I wouldn't be shocked if Nevada wins, especially in a revenge spot. And but I ain't going to get greedy. I'm going to take the points here. I'm going to take Nevada +5.5 at Boise. Jesse?
I would agree with you, Ross, but I'm a bit concerned about starting point guard Keenan Blackshear. He's a 6'6" point guard. He's missed the last 2 games. I think he's a senior as well. And let's face it, they did win their last 2 games when he wasn't in the lineup. He's listed as questionable. I'm not sure if he's going to be able to get back in tonight. I think they'll miss him, though. Tough game. I actually prefer a play on the total, especially if Blackshear doesn't play. A low total, I think it was listed at 138.5 or something along those lines.
No, it's actually 142, if I'm not mistaken.
142, okay.
Yeah.
I think Nevada is, if not the best defensive team in the Mountain West, certainly up there. The last game these 2 teams played was extremely low scoring, And I just think we can expect that if either of these teams scores 70, they're going to be the winner.
Yeah, I mean, without Blackshear in the lineup, you said it. They won their last two, and I got to believe that part of that is incorporated in the line right now. I think that this is a game probably would have been at least 3.5 or 4 if they knew for sure he was going to play. And I think they're protecting himself at 5.5. And if he's ruled out, I could see this going to 6.5 or 7. But it seems like Nevada. See, this is a difference between a Nevada and a Baylor and an Alabama. If Nevada is having a tough day offensively, they keep themselves in the game by how well they play defense, and they do just enough offensively. Where the other two that I just mentioned don't have the capability of doing so. It's all or nothing. You know, we need to score 85 or more, and we'll take our chances. But Sean, your take on this matchup?
No, agree defensively with what you said about Nevada here. And what kept me off of it was because of the injury. Like, I think the line is high because of the injury, but I just couldn't get to the window. I want to take Nevada, and even if it was 3 or 4 with him playing, I'd be on Nevada. I mean, they've won 8 and 9. They're playing well. They're playing really good ball right now. What's there to? Yeah. Why don't you want the points?
Playing good on the road, especially too.
Yeah.
You know that's
and you play defense.
Part.
You play defense, you got a shot to come in and steal one. And we talk about winning on the road is tough. Yes, it is. But if you're playing defense, you're going to be in the game. And this team is 7-3 on the road, by the way, too. So you play defense, you got a shot, a better than average shot.
Actually, 7-2 straight up in true road games. And if I'm not mistaken, Sean, and if it's 7-3, it's still pretty good, right? But you know, the big thing is the 4-0 straight up in ATS. In their last 4 on the road, all against conference opponents. 3 of them come in as an underdog against pretty good competition, you know? Yeah. So, again, the injury does put a little bit of a red flag up there, but I'm of the belief that if he was definitely going to play Blackshear, that this line would be around 3.5 or so. And Nevada's a type of team because how they play defensively, in my mind. And again, you know, Sean, it's tough to win on the road, but we're catching 5.5 here, you know,
so got to cover. That's it.
Yeah.
It's not like it's a team getting 1 or 2 with some kind of close kind of game. It is a sizable number. But again, is that they think the guy's out, so you're getting an extra 3 points, which is probably what the case is, I think.
Yeah. All right. So, Jesse, there's a like button right underneath our video box there.
Smash that like button.
He's back, baby. He's back.
His voice is back. Watch out. So that's just a small token of your appreciation for all the time, work, and effort we put in to bringing you a quality podcast 5 times a week. And our theme, like I always say, has always been, still is, and will continue to be, we want to make you a smarter sports bettor today than you were yesterday. Don't forget, folks, to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will be back tomorrow with these 2 gentlemen, and we'll be discussing college basketball matchups between UConn and Marquette, BYU and Iowa State, and Tennessee and South Carolina. 3 more top flight games in college basketball tomorrow coming from us 3. And 5-1, the last 2, or 4-1, excuse me, the last 2 videos, podcasts, I should say, for us as a group. And hopefully we go 3-0 for you tomorrow, and we'll continue that winning roll going into tomorrow. So until then, for Jesse Schule, Sean Higgs, and Ross Benjamin, take care and God bless, folks.